Нет.
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 Нет. Нет, балалайка, водка не здесь.
Hello guys! A few days ago I posted a video where I asked Russian people, is it true that Russians drink too much alcohol or not? It was 10 minutes video with no my comments, just people's answers. But after that I got a lot of messages, links on one very popular video on YouTube. The creator of this video told that Russia drinks more than other countries. Alcoholism is an old Russian problem. After this video I decided to change a bit my video and add my comments, because I don't really like that so many foreigners really believe in that. Please don't believe everything you watch and read. To be honest, it's always sad to see such videos with the strange information, strange statistics. The first thing I want to do when I see this kind of videos is to invite this creator to my city or to Russia and to introduce him to Russians. I live in Russia, but there was a time when I traveled a lot. So I had a chance to compare Russia with other countries. I never compare our countries, but I had a chance to see how people live abroad, and I know how people live in Russia. I want to tell you that in a global sense, if it's possible to say like this, Russians drink no less, no more than other countries. Sometimes even less, but you always can find the official statistics. So guys, just short comments. First, there are many alcoholics in Russia, but no more than everywhere. Second, alcoholism exists in all countries where alcohol exists. It's a really terrible disease. Next, I don't agree that Russians drink a lot or maybe more than in other countries. It was many years ago, but not now.
People used to drink a lot before, but not now. Do you know when people drank a lot? In Soviet time, but not now.
If you hear that most Russians are alcoholics, it's not true. Check the official statistics, or better come to Russia and check it by yourself. Next, of course, Russia is so big and we have different cities with different standards of living. In some cities people don't have a job and they really drink a lot.
It depends on the region. There are many different regions in Russia. People drink a lot, there is no work, nothing to do.
You know, I had several interviews with foreigners who live in Moscow, and they said me that they were surprised that the Russians don't drink too much alcohol as they expected. I will leave this link, I probably hear. What I can say about me, my family, my friends, we don't drink alcohol. We drink when we celebrate something. We can drink a glass of wine, or cognac, or even vodka. Now I invite you to see what the locals think about this topic.
I don't know the statistics, but I don't agree that Russia is the leading country in the issue of drunkenness. I totally disagree. We drink like all people everywhere. Which alcohol do you prefer? Mostly wine. I can only say about my surroundings. I think that nowadays people don't drink no matter what. They try to choose good alcohol. They don't drink in order to be drunk, but for good conversation, to have a good time together. I think nowadays there is a trend not to drink. There are not many drinking people around me. I like that many people do a lot of sport, many young people lead a healthy lifestyle. I think currently the number of drinking people is decreasing. Many, not many. We have people who drink and people who don't drink, but more those who don't drink. People I know, we drink little. On a holidays, that is all. Maybe we have. I met people who drink a lot. I only drink on holidays. My friends, they also don't drink because everyone has a license. I stopped only by a driver license. Maybe that was the trigger. People drank more before they got a driver's license. I don't drink at all. There are no such people around me. No, I'm probably lucky. There are no people in my family who drink. At best, we can drink on holidays, but not always and not too much. Yes, there is a stereotype that there are many people who drink, but I don't agree with it. I think that now everything has changed for the better. I walk with a child and I don't see companies with alcohol. 15 years ago it used to be. Maybe those companies are located somewhere in closed places, I don't know. I agree, but I don't see them. My personal opinion is no. I can't say that Russians drink more than other countries, but sometimes it happens. There are people who drink, but we are not the first and not the leaders, I think so. I think some people drink a lot. There are people who can't find work, and in the end it all comes down to the fact that it's easier to drink than to do something. No. My son-in-law doesn't drink, no me, no my daughter. No, I don't see drunk people here. Honestly, maybe it seems to me. We just drink a little wine and that is all. We don't need any more. We don't drink vodka at all. Compare it to what? I think that now we are not the most drinking country. It was like that about 10 years ago. I heard that in Finland, in some Scandinavian countries, they also abuse this alcohol. Then, in Ireland, by the way, they also drink a lot. Abroad, people can afford to drink good alcohol, whiskey, some noble drinks, and in large quantities, but in Russia people drink vodka because of economic situation. I think no more than in England. By the way, why vodka? We prefer wine. We are civilized people, we drink red rye. I think it used to be a lot, but now it's less. In each nation there are people who drink a lot. I can't say for all people, but I'm against. No, it's not true. It was on collective farms in the years 80 to 90. I want to tell you that now people don't drink too much, no matter where they live. Well, some people drink, we are not an exception. We have very good people. I think this is a stereotype. No more, no less than in European countries. Yeah, this is probably the most popular stereotype. Probably because some Russians drink too much, for example, in Turkey, and after that their behavior is not so nice. But if you go to our restaurant and see how the Germans relax, people on vacation are always like on vacation. All nations drink, someone more, someone less, but this is a stereotype. I don't know. I think they have seen enough of how our Russians drink in Turkey. Russians drink too much in Turkey. I was in Jordan, the Russians don't live in Aqaba, they live in Tel Aviv, where alcohol is allowed. I was in the Emirates, I was the only person who lived in Sharjah with a dry law. All other Russians lived in Dubai where they could drink. So I think this stereotype is quite reasonable. I don't drink. No, it's not true. I think that abroad people drink more. No, I don't think so. This is a stereotype. Look at other countries. In Russia, people drink only on holidays, but a lot. In America, for example, people can go to pubs after every working day and drink a beer. It depends on where. People drink in villages where there is nothing to do. Russians drink like all people, but they know how to drink. We don't drink. No, that is not true. We lived sometime in Yekaterinburg. Before our trip to Yekaterinburg, people told us that if it's cold there, then people drink too much. But no, that is not true. People drink in any country, especially if they have health and wealth to do this. No, I have not tried vodka at all. People who drink vodka, they are... But if there is something tasty to drink, then why not? If no alcohol, no problem. What is tasty? Well, I don't know. A sambuca, for example. Well, we looked at the statistics. There are most drinking people in Finland. In Russia, people don't drink too much. But yes, Russians are associated with alcohol. This stereotype can change only over the years. In the central Russia, yes, they drink. I went to a small town and saw drinkers there. But they drink because there is no work. If they had a job, everyone would work and not get drunk. Well, I don't even know it's stereotype or not. I think this is a stereotype because people drink in all countries. For example, if you go to normal area, you will not see a person who drinks vodka on a bench. But if you come here at night, you will probably see 3 alcoholics who drink vodka. I think that in Russia there is a big difference in the standards of living. We have very poor and very rich people. Of course, rich people don't need this vodka at all. What should other people do? They drink to drown their sorrows. I think that nowadays people drink a lot of beer. Yes, probably, because it's cheap drink. Beer? Yes, people abused with the beer.
And yes, don't drink too much, no matter where you are.
It's water, don't worry, it's my tea.